A psychotherapist, Cindy Crane, is here to talk about the emotional toll of the war. Good morning to you, Cindy. And these images that we're seeing are certainly heartbreaking, but not the worst of them by any means. You know, open up the paper, go on the internet, and very frightening images out there.
Absolutely. It's hard for us to watch. It's hard for our children to watch, too.
And as a viewer, you just feel a sense of helplessness, and your child is asking you questions depending on their age. I mean, it's hard to turn them away from it. You have the newspaper delivered to your home, you have the TV going, you've got your computer up, and they hear about it in school. At what age, though, should you really be getting into the nitty-gritty of the situation and explain to them what's going on?
Well, you said exactly what I was thinking, is that there's such a helplessness, and also for some parents, an anger or frustration about what they're seeing, particularly Jewish and Muslim parents trying to understand their own feelings and then to be present for their children's needs. So I sort of separated out into three different categories of elementary, middle school, and high school children and kind of appropriate ways to communicate. Okay. So with elementary school kids, I really think that sort of 7 years old and younger, we really shouldn't bring it up. Okay. It's not on their radar, and we may be triggering unnecessary worry and sort of keep that down, but paying attention to signs. Kids who are 12 years old or older were alive for September 11th. Right. They remember those events, and they may worry, there were children killed that they may have seen in this war. Could they hurt us? Could the bad guys be here? So we really want to do what we can to listen to what their questions are, encourage them to talk about it, but also be clear on what they understand and make sure always that we comfort them right away. And then I would say with high schoolers, they want to talk about the issues. It's important that we support their ideas, important that we listen to what they're talking about, and then also that we provide them with sort of our worldview. It's a way to reach back and say, this world is really out of control sometimes. What can you do? What can you think to do to help?
And what are those signs? You mentioned with a younger child, don't bring it up unless they bring it up. But what would be the signs that perhaps they're feeling anxious about something like that?
Right. So kids who may either have emerging anxiety or already existing anxiety or even other more serious mental health issues, we always want to pay attention to just some basic behaviors that could be a sign of heightened anxiety. So in younger children, bedwetting, angry outbursts, nightmares, maybe acting out towards others. So that's something to really notice. And then as we kind of go up the scale with middle schoolers, maybe more isolative behavior or expansive behavior. And again, middle school, high school, maybe increased substance abuse. You want to pay attention to really outrageous sort of dramatic behavior. And if it's isolative, what's going on? Make sure you have a conversation. Just ask your child, was this a trigger or is there something else going on in you? And pay attention to that. And of course, I always recommend that if you see a problem behavior, certainly seek out the counsel of a professional. That's what we do.
But at some point, I mean, depending on the emotional maturity of your child, they are going to ask you questions about it. And I do feel like you at least you owe them an honest answer.
Yeah, even young 7-year-olds, we all know 6 or 7, around that age, they're like the most curious. And so it's hard to just not answer anything,
Right,
like you
sure.
suggested.
If they're asking questions, please engage. I think it's important to remember that children sort of 14 and younger are very concrete thinkers. So we don't want to talk in abstract terms. They may think that, something that's in a video game is real, or they may think the opposite, that somehow what they're seeing in the Gaza War is pretend. We want to make clear for them what is what and really be there for what they're asking, be present for their questions, and always with the goal of comforting them.
Right. Well, good advice
Good advice
thought
there.
to end on,
Yeah.
for sure.
Thank you so much,
Cindy Crane, thank you for
having me.
joining us.